Hey, I am Christopher Cole Gaming. Welcome back to JMR Recap. If you watched our episode of the Sand Marble Rally Qualifiers, you might remember I said JMR Recap would be every Friday. And you might be thinking, Christopher, it's Tuesday. Why is there JMR Recap? Basically, Sand Marble Rally schedule ended up being different from what I was guessing it to be, so instead of every Friday, JMR Recap's actually going to be every Tuesday and every Friday for the next 5 weeks. Yay! Before we get started, the course had been rained on shortly before this B-League race, and the A-League race later for that matter. That made the marbles take this course slower than they normally would. Marbly McMarbleface would immediately take the lead out of the gate from the bottom half of the starting gate, a trend continuing from the qualifying races the week before, but Green Turtle would very quickly take the lead from them a couple seconds into the race. But then about 50 seconds into the race, we see Cool Moody take advantage of the slower portion of the track and being able to pass Green Turtle while they are caught up on the walls of the course. At least that is what I assume because it happened off camera. Gotta love shoddy JMR camera work. We then see the whole field get really close together in this curvy section, showing that if you made just 1 or 2 good moves while the field is this close together, you could gain multiple spots. We then see the marbles go through a divided section, and although it looked faster at the start, the bottom path ended up being the faster option for our leading marbles, although we do see El Capitan make a good move to get up into 4th place on said top path. Although Green Turtle didn't have the lead going through that faster lower path, he was able to carry over the speed to pass Cool Moody as they entered the curvy section right after. The racers then enter the helixes, in which Green Turtle takes a really good route, and Cool Moody ends up just slamming into the wall, kinda like what he did in the qualifying race last week. El Capitan also takes a really good route and is able to pass Cool Moody with the extra speed he got through the helixes. Those would be the last major position shifts of the race, as Green Turtle would come in first, a couple lengths in front of Cool Moody and El Capitan, who would take 2nd and 3rd respectively. Summer Sky and Big Pearl would take 4th and 5th, as Marbly McMarbleface fell all the way down to 6th place after leading the race briefly and being in the top 3 for a lot of the race. Fun fact about this race's winner, this is actually Green Turtle's first win in any sort of Marble Rally competition, A or B League. And on the opposite side of the standings, Quicksilver and Black Knight are still failing to live up to their performances from previous seasons, and Deep Ocean and Cobra are still just continuing to prove that they're just not very good at this. Although the track had warmed up slightly before the A-League race, the track was still kind of moist, so keep that in mind. The start of this race would see Grasshopper and Blue Moon fighting for the lead early, both from the top half of the starting gate, I might add, breaking our trend of the bottom half of the starting gate early leaders, but it would end up being Blue Moon who would take the lead for longer. As the race progressed a little more, we saw Blue Moon and Grasshopper take pretty sizable leads over the rest of the field, while Dragon's Egg, Reflector, and Super Ball would be back there fighting for 3rd. As the camera pans back, we see Ghost Plasma and Super Ball, 2 former champions, both make moves to get into 6th place and 4th place respectively. As we go back to the front, we see Blue Moon is even starting to separate themselves from Grasshopper now, as Grasshopper falls back to be a little closer with the rest of the pack. We see a bit of position scrambling as the marbles go through this collection basin, mainly with Ghost Plasma, who goes from 6th place to not even in the top 8 within a couple seconds of going through it. Remember how Blue Moon had that massive lead? That actually might have hurt them in the long run, as they almost seemed to slow down for rest, almost assuming they had the race won, and that way Grasshopper get a lot of speed in the straightaway and end up passing them to take the lead. Grasshopper and Blue Moon ended up staying in that order respectively, and Super Ball and Dragon's Egg would come across in 3rd and 4th. This race ended up having 2 former champions in the top 5, but it ended up being a marble that never won a race before, and a marble that never even podiumed before, taking the top 2 spots. If you're familiar with the Sand Marble Rally, you would know Crazy Cat's side usually does well in specifically race 1 of the season. That didn't really happen this time. They got 7th, which is still pretty good, but you know, it's not winning though. Ghost Plasma ended up falling from 6th all the way to 14th after going through the Cat Basin. It really threw them off a lot. Also, 2 winners from the qualifying races, Blazing Fireball and Phoenix, ended up taking our bottom 2 spots, so maybe they weren't as prepared as we thought they were. One last little stat before we go, the Ghost Marble ended up turning into the thing it's for to destroy, being the only DNF in the entire video. So that's been today's episode of JMR Recap. Hope you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. I just hope you enjoyed watching the video. And I'll hope to see you back on Friday for coverage of Race 2 of the A and B League. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, maybe, if you liked it. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, see you next time, hopefully.